All right, I've got background noise, I've got artist's fingers, and this is the only time that I have to be able to show you how I do the Jasmine stitch. So we're going to start with a slip knot on your hook. I suggest using a 4mm or smaller, even going down to a 3mm. My sweet spot is usually 3.5mm, and with worsted weight yarn, chain 2. On your second chain, you're going to pull it up. I do about 1 inch, and then you're going to yarn over, go into the first loop, grab your yarn, pull up, and drag it up to be about the same height as your other one. So you're going to do that 3 times. So there's 1, yarn over, enter, pull up a loop. There's 2, yarn over, enter, grab your yarn, pull up a loop. There's 3. And now this is the tricky part. So we're starting out with the foundation chain of puff stitches to get started before we get into the Jasmine stitch. You're going to yarn over, but you're going to grab that loop and hold that spot. I like to just put my index finger and my thumb together to kind of just hold that spot. And then hold your work, grab that loop, and you're going to go through every loop on the hook, and then insert your hook into that spot that you were holding, grab your yarn, and do a single crochet. And there's 1. So I'm going to do that one more time, but we're going to do it as long as your project needs to be. So I'm going to chain 1. This is how we do the second one. Yarn over, go into the spot underneath that single crochet that you just did. Pull up a loop. There's 2 and 3. Actually, I may have done the wrong amount, but that's okay. Grab your spot, pull through, go back into that hole, do a single crochet. And now I'm going to actually pay attention and count properly. Chain 1, pull that up, yarn over, go into it, that single crochet, go underneath it. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And if you need to know how many loops are on your hook before you pull through, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you yarn over, grab, pull through all 7 loops on your hook, go back into that spot, grab your yarn, do a single crochet. And you're going to do that just however long you want yours to be. I'm going to stop here and I'm going to just do 5 of them and then come back. Okay, I have 5 of the foundation puff stitches now. And now, at the end of every row, you're going to do a turning puff stitch chain, or a turning chain, right? And how we do that is same way. Chain 1, pull up, yarn over, go underneath the single crochet, pull up a loop. There's 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, pull through, go into that spot, do a single crochet. And from here, since that's our turning chain, we're going to now start the Jasmine stitch going this way. So we're going to chain 1, pull up, yarn over, go into that spot 3 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then yarn over, go into the spot in between the next 2 puff stitches. So right there, and we're going to pull up and do that 3 times. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, go into the next spot, pull up the loop. There's 1, and 2, and 3. Yarn over, and we're going to go through every loop on the hook. It's easier if you kind of just inch it along and get through all of them that way. Once you get there, keep that spot you're holding, go into it, pull up a loop, do a single crochet. And there is the first half of your first Jasmine stitch. And from here, we're going to chain 1, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into that same spot we chained from. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, go into the next spot. 1, 2, 3, and the next spot after that. Grab your loop, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, hold, and then go through all the loops on your hook. And I'm gonna do it all the way to the end and then show you how to get the last one done. Okay, once you get to where there's only one puff stitch left hanging, it might look like you don't have enough spaces to work into, but you do. Chain 1, 1, 2, 3, go into the next spot right here, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, and then now you're just going to go into the very end right below your first slip knot right there. Yarn over, go into that spot, 1, 2, and 3, and then whoops, I lost my working yarn. Yarn over, hold that spot, go through all the loops on your hook, and then do your single crochet. And from here, to start your next row, to complete the Jasmine stitch, you're going to chain 1, pull it up, turn your work, and then do a turning chain right here. So again, it's yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, and this is just how you start the next row. Pull through, do a single crochet, and now we're going to start the second half of our Jasmine stitch. Pull up a loop, 1, 2, 3, go into the next spot, 1, 2, 3, and into the next spot, 1, 2, 3, and then we're just going to keep repeating that same thing until you get to the size that you want your project to be. And I have made quite a few like ear warmers with this. I've never done any bigger projects. I wouldn't recommend this for a blanket just because it would get like snagged easily by little fingernails or claws from your pet. However, for something like a ear warmer, or even for like a pot holder or something, or like a hot plate type thing, it would be perfect, I think, especially because it makes really thick projects, especially with this type of yarn, like the weight 4. So I'm going to go to the end and then show you what it looks like when it's all done. I wanted to show you right here at the end. I've done my 2 spots, and then now I'm going to go into just the end here. You just find a spot at the end of that puff stitch from the previous row. 1, 2, 3, pull through, and do the single crochet. And then if that was my last row, I would just fasten off by just yarning over, chain 1, pull my loop up, cut the yarn, and tie the knot. But as you can see, it's a little bit harder with this particular variegated yarn, but you can see like the petals on each flower. Here is a well-loved, completed ear warmer that I made for my daughter, and she has worn it in the snow several times already, but you can see with this yarn the flowers a little bit better, I think. But this one, I just did the puff stitch foundation row until it was the length that I needed to wrap around my daughter's head, with a little bit of extra so that I could do the twisted end. And then I just did a few rows, as you can see, until I ended with a completed flower and what looks like another foundation chain of puff stitches, but it's really just the bottom half of another Jasmine stitch. So I hope that this tutorial was easy enough for you to follow. I have lots of other tutorials pinned at the top of my in the playlist at the top of my profile. If you ever want to know how to do any other stitches, just let me know.